All right. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. I appreciate it. We have Roseanne here from Ovilla Christian Church, Vertical Church in Ovilla.
There you go. Yes, yes.
So I appreciate it. This is my first time, so bear with me. So I do have some questions. I would like to start out to find out how you got into leadership and what is your role here.
Okay.
2 to 3 minute elevator pitch of what you do and how you got into it.
Okay. All right. Well, so I've been on staff here for 5 years. My title is ministry administrator. It's kind of a mouthful, but I started out here just coming to Vertical as a member, served on the hospitality team, served in women's ministry, and then when I came on staff, I started out with hospitality in groups, and then after probably 2 years, I took on the administrative side as well. So I do hospitality, which is the lobby and photo booths and follow up with first-time guests and getting to greet people and work with teams like that from parking lot all the way into the worship center. And then groups is just that, it's groups. So it goes from women and men. We have different age groups, obviously different sexes, but also Sunday morning discipleship groups that are all sorts of different ranges, as well as couples, marriages, different things like that. And then we have which go from weekly to Sunday morning classes. So that's groups. And then we have, and there's a vision behind all that, but that's the basics of it. And then administrative is even down to getting the staples to I make copies for the groups, and I do our app. Then we have our Church Center app. I maintain that, and our planning center system, which is all of our database for everybody. So
that is a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. It's an honor, though.
You had one word that stood out to me.
What's that?
Said there's a vision for all of this.
There is a vision for all of this, yes.
Can you share the vision with me?
Oh, I can. So each one is a different one. So like with hospitality, the vision is to make it an environment that is welcoming and warm for each person that comes in, so that they are seen and know the love of Christ. But the group's vision is more about making disciples, so that they know how to not only lift him up, but to live him out, which we learned on Sunday morning.
Yes.
But then we learned it in an even deeper way. But to also have a basis of community, because we are called to be in community, to be the body, and the best way to do that is discipleship classes. And then administrative, I don't really have a vision there except to just be the kind of the helpmate for the rest of the staff. And so, yeah, that's the nutshell ones.
Awesome.
I have nice, pretty ones that I have typed out, but
that's all right.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes.
That's all right. No, that's good.
Yeah.
So what challenges do you face in your leadership role?
I'd say, well, with ministry leadership, it's different because you have a volunteer staff versus a corporate staff. Right. So that's definitely a different relationship, but it's even greater, reward that comes out of that, because you're growing in relationship with Christ, you're growing in relationship with people. So I'd say, even though it's amazing, that is a tougher system to maintain, just because people have lives and different things like that. I'd say other challenges are, within leadership is having good time efficiency, to make sure all tasks are complete, things like that, follow through, and remaining on the forefront of what the people need, so that the body is continuing to grow, as well as making sure that we are growing to lead.
Okay.
So,
you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what are the rewards of leadership?
Yeah.
Anything to add there?
Oh yeah, for me, specifically with my roles, is relationships. Like I love our church body. I mean, I said from the moment I entered the doors, and I love it because people say it in their own lives, that it was like coming home. So to me, it's just our family. So I love knowing the little tidbits of people. I love knowing, them, their kids, and then building relationship with them, but then getting to see that growth. So, and I feel like it's such an honor, and it leaves me in awe that he allows us to see a glimpse into people's lives as they continue to grow in the healing and the life change. And so that is it's a huge reward. So that's what I would say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What leadership lessons have you learned through, say, maybe your life experiences outside of church, and that maybe you've brought into the church atmosphere?
That's a good one. So a funny one I've learned, it's not really funny because it's true, but it's funny in ministry is that, well, now I can't even think how to say it, that business isn't personal, right? But in ministry, it is. It's all personal. So that's been something I've actually had to unlearn within myself, is to make sure it's not something I'm coming cold from, to where in a corporate world you would be like, it's done. You know what I mean? But in ministry, there's a heart behind everything. So I'd say that's something that I've learned. So a lesson that I've learned in leadership. I guess also teamwork has been big, all through my life, doing sports, cheerleading, band, different things like that. You learn how to, band, obviously you learn to go with the flow, and you have a leader, and you walk in step. And so teamwork is a big thing that I've learned in life, and then being able to really play that out here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How can a church develop future leaders more effectively, say in this, so she's in the 40 to 60 age group.
Mm-hmm.
So from that age group, how do you think that we can develop leaders?
I think you have to give them opportunity. And I'd say that's something I'm definitely having to learn more, because I am a leader, but I'm also a doer. And so making sure people have opportunities, because that's what allowed me to grow. So giving them the chance, and then giving them training, because you can't just throw them into, the pond and be like, good luck. This is what you need to do, but I'm not going to tell you how to do any of it.
I've been in that pot before.
Yes, and it's tough because you're just drowning, and a lot of times people can get up and swim and walk out of the pond just great, but a lot of times they'll drown, and then that's heartbreaking. So training is a huge part, and then opportunity.
I know when I became a youth pastor, right before, when he was kind of interviewing people, he just, someone said, "Oh, Trisha can do it," and he went, "Tag, you're it."
Oh wow!
And I went, "I am."
Yes.
I had
That's
no
a
idea
lot.
what to do,
Especially
thankfully,
with youth. Ooh. Yeah.
Thankfully, I took it serious, and that's how I
Yes.
entered Bible college, and here
That's
I am
awesome.
working further in my degree.
Yes, I love that.
What is our, we got?
We still have 7 minutes.
Okay.
We talk
All
really
right.
fast.
We do. Okay. So, is there any advice you can give younger Christians who are considering a leadership role?
I would say you have to make sure to keep your faith a priority, that you are, something I learned early in ministry is, I've been a Christian my whole life, but obviously I'm in a far deeper depth than I was then, but learning to read the scriptures and dive into things, but don't just do it for understanding. You know what I mean? Don't just do it for head knowledge. Do it for an understanding that comes from relationship with him, and then recognition of him. So that's one thing when I first started, especially wanting to prove myself for performance. I was still stuck in much legalism that we can get stuck in, right? So I would say that's my biggest thing for new Christians, is to make sure that you're stepping it out with the right heart, making sure not to put yourself in the center, because he has to be the center, and then all things flow from that. And then you'll have an even greater understanding. And then I would say also with prayer life, like, don't feel like you have to have the perfect prayer. Just have a conversation with him. Talk to him like we're talking right now. And sometimes that's a sucky conversation, but he's there, and he's ready. And I'd say the last thing is that stop trying to earn his love, because he's not going to love you any more than he does in this moment.
Absolutely. Which
makes me want to melt. So don't be a performer. Know that he loves you, and stand in that identity and confidence, and then from that you grow in relationship and recognition of him.
That's very, very awesome. So, what motivates you to stay involved in ministry and church activities?
I would say, well, he's called me to it, but that's the first one. But again, those relationships and the growth that it's caused within myself. Seeing the freedom in others, but then we almost get to, I don't want to say greater freedom, because we're all within that, but I think that's what keeps you coming back, is knowing the impact that you make in the vessel that you are through him, but that it's worth the work. You want to be like Paul and just keep running the race, but you want to do it because that's what he's called you to, not just because you need to run. It goes back to performance, but.
So I want to go back a little bit,
Okay.
and ask another question based on what you just said.
Okay.
You said I'm called to it. I felt called to it. when did you feel you first felt that calling?
You know, it's
And
funny, I
what did that
actually
look like?
felt it in middle school. And I would lead Bible studies. Like my parents, we grew up in church, and my mom was always our Sunday school teacher. She's still a Sunday school teacher today. 73 and teaching the high school youth class. I just think it's so cool. But so in middle school, I taught a Bible study. We'd get up at like 6 every morning, go to the donut store. I'd write a lesson, and we would go in like we had this little center area in our middle school, and there was like 5 or 6 of us, and it would grow from time to time, and we'd have a lesson and a discussion. And from that, I knew that was something he had placed within me. And the things I was writing was not from me. I mean, I was in 7th grade, so we're talking about the Holy Spirit. Yeah. We're talking about all these things, and it's just from that it just kind of grew. And what's interesting, I never thought that I would be where I am right now. But what's so cool is all the jobs that he's brought me through, the skills that he's brought me through, even working in the copy center at Staples. You know, I decorated houses. I worked at Home Depot customer service. I worked in the medical field, and all of that he's used those into today. And so I just think it's so cool. He can use anything that we've done and any skill we have.
Oh, yes.
And it's literally tied to things that I do today.
So when did you kind of make the transition from
member to
working in the secular workforce into ministry?
So I got on staff 5 years ago, but I was working in the medical field still at the same time.
Okay.
So I quit that about probably 6 months in, so about 4.5 years. And it's the best. But man, the world doesn't talk about God all the time, you know, and I think that's probably one of my favorite things is it's just in our constant conversation.
What advice could you give somebody who's preparing for leadership ministry?
I would say, you really have to prepare your heart, because again, it's not corporate, it's not the world, and you can very quickly go into that mindset into the doers. And so that's definitely what I did at the beginning, and I can do that until you're exhausted and burned out, because you haven't put any of your energy into what he called you to do, but what you think you can do. So I think I'd say that's the biggest thing. Make sure to keep your eyes on him and what he's asking you to do, and not what you think that you should do.
Right.
Because that generally turns into exhaustion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And frustration.
It could be a
and
great
anxiety
thing,
and
but
all
if
the
you're not
things.
called to it, it could be godly.
Yes.
But if it's not your calling, it turns into a task.
Exactly. Yeah. And know that sometimes in your weaknesses, I mean, just like Scripture tells us, that He will be made strong. But know that in that He can use that too.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Is there any last bits of?
No, I'm impressed with how many words I said right there. That was all the Lord right there. Yes.
That was awesome.
Yes.
Well, I think we're right about.
We got
right about the end there.
Okay.
That's good.
Is that good? Okay.
Yeah, that'll work.
Awesome.
I think that should be fun.
Thank
you so much. I
enjoyed
really
it.
appreciate it. And
Yes.
I will enjoy seeing you in the future at church
Yes.
and
Yes.
saying hello and knowing
love
more
it.
about you. It's great.
I love it.
It's
Yes,
great.
me
So
too.
thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.